Alright, we're support Cleveland Metal Scene hanging out with Bound by Fate. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How long have you guys known each other?
It kind of varies. Timmy here, about what, 2 years now?
2 years.
Well, Shaggy over there, Dave, we've known him for a while. He's been in the band for close to a year.
Oh.
Dan and I were the founding members, and we're going on. We've known each other a little bit before this too.
I think
Probably about 10 years.
About 10 years. I've actually known Dave probably about 15, closer to 20 from outside of music, but yeah, it varies. We all, some longer than others, but we all know each other now.
Probably a lot better than we should.
How long have you guys worked on your sound?
Since day one, 6 years.
Still going.
Still
working.
It's evolving. It's not something that I think that you can totally sit back and be content with. You know, if you're not trying to evolve as a band, then you're probably going about your business in the wrong way. So it's a constant thing, a constant process, and there's always a little tweaking here and there, changing things up.
always.
Luckily, it's more about being the process than being the result. Yes, because at the end of the day, we are musicians. So it's just, even though it may be hard to tell once in a while.
What are you currently working on?
Right now, we are in the writing process for our upcoming, what will be our next record. We'll actually be entering the studio at the end of this month, and we'll be starting work on drums. Then we'll progress the strings and all that. Right now, we're just kind of in the writing process. We have several songs that are completely solid and set, ready to go. Others that still need some work, but we'll be good to go when it's time to get it done.
Absolutely. You'll get to hear some of the newer stuff that's coming up on the new CD tonight, in fact.
Yeah, we've been trying to mix in some of the new songs. I was actually talking with one of the other guys that's playing tonight from At No End, Tommy, and we were talking about how it's important to incorporate new material constantly because you don't want your music to go stale, otherwise people get bored.
And people get tired of coming in and hearing the same songs over and over and over, so you got to keep it fresh.
You have to challenge yourself as a band, and it's tough with day-to-day life, you know, especially doing what we're doing on an underground and pretty much local scene. It's tough. You got to give people a reason to come out.
Stay relevant.
Yep.
How do you guys prefer to listen to music, like CDs or downloading?
I'll take it any way I can get it, pretty much, yeah.
I'm a CD hound. I can't listen to the radio.
I can't do the radio. There's just way too much talking and way too much commercials. I don't care about somebody's little French poodle taking a shit in the backyard.
Although I do like sports talk radio, and I get made fun of for that all the time, I don't care.
Listen to the old man club.
Yeah.
And I'm the baby of the band.
Yeah.
I'm a CD guy, especially being an artist, if you want to call it that. I can appreciate how much work, how much time and money and effort goes into making the CD, and it's always more gratifying to have the hard product in your hand than a digital musical file. I'm sure they're great. I personally don't use them, and I hope that I never have to.
Lars Ulrich was right.
Yeah.
I go all the way back to vinyl records. I developed a disgustingly huge vinyl record collection of stuff in like other unrelated projects. But when it comes to metal, my first love is always going to be cassettes, because I learned to play bass playing to cassettes, where if you didn't get the part right, you could always rewind it right back and play that dumb sucker again until you got it. You can't do that with CDs. You can't do that with an MP3, to my knowledge. That's what makes the cassette format perfect in my yeah. So.
You gentlemen have been around for a while. What's the weirdest place you've ever woken up?
Oh.
In a tree.
I don't know. Wow. Under a bush.
In a jail cell.
In a jail cell.
Yeah.
In a parking garage. In
one of my best friend's son's bed. I pulled a Robert Downey Jr. That was back in my drinking days. I haven't drank in years, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty stupid place. It's probably the same type of places that most people, that have a little one too many, wake up.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a shirt. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah,
That shirt. Yeah,
that's
the last one.
drink.
Yeah, one too many to decide to climb up a pine tree to take a better look at the party and wake up there 4 hours later.
Yeah.
Discover it's a spruce tree with much sharper needles.
Though I think one of the funniest load-ins we had was at a outdoor festival that's done every summer out around. It's like Chaliad, Ohio, right over the border into Pennsylvania. It's called Gemini. It's done at a campground, and it's awesome. But we played it this year on the second day. It was Woodstock. It was raining. It was shitty, but it was so much fun. And we're running across the field in the rain, trying to get our gear in the back of a barn.
Walking through puddles nearly knee deep. Yeah.
5 and 6 o'clock, people are passing out. We got a picture someone took of us, and there's somebody in the background behind us, passed out, and his chair went backwards, and his feet are up in the air, and it's still daylight. People taking a shit right out there in the open, just dropping trowel, taking a shit in the middle of the crowd. It's like, really? The only thing missing was someone saying, "Don't eat the bad acid."
Yeah.
That was it.
And then my favorite part was the guy rear-ended the potty. The honey wagon pulling out of the driveway, and the guy right behind him smashing right the fuck back into the back of the potty truck. Didn't hurt the potty truck. The potty truck stuff's made out of 3/8 inch steel. Messed the grill up on his pickup though.
But he didn't notice it. He said it was all good.
Yeah.
Drove away.
And drove away. I'm sure you wonder what the hell he did in the morning.
Alright. What are your guys' opinions on Guitar Center versus mom and pop shops for your instruments?
That answer goes directly to me.
Well, I'll take this one.
I'm gonna have to. Mom and pop shops compared to Guitar Center, I mean, that's basically two different animals with the same goal in mind. Guitar Center is going to help you do whatever they can to get you what you want and to get you there. The mom and pop will also do that, but they'll probably have a little bit more time to be more personal with you. I know he goes through some mom and pop shops, but he's got more of a personal relationship with those guys as to having a good sales guy at Guitar Center. Now, I fully support Guitar Center. Let's throw it out there.
They signed your fucking contract.
You work there. I work there. Yes.
There are things that Guitar Center is good for, and there are things that mom and pop is good for.
Yeah.
A lot of the instruments and other projects that I use, like dulcimers, auto harps, things like that. You go to Guitar Center, they're just not going to have
We've
it.
got a dulcimer.
Yeah, you got one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, they got one.
That's one more than somebody else.
But
a dulcimer is like this long and that thin, all wood, 4 strings. I don't get it.
yeah. But like Guitar Center, you get your cables, microphone. If I need a freaking G key harmonica, I can go there and ask them, and they will always have it. So it serves two different sections of the same.
Yeah. It depends. There's pros and cons with both. You can usually even find better deals with the mom and pop shops than you might find at Guitar Center. It's easier, like he said, to develop a relationship, a personable relationship with mom and pop shops, and when you get that kind of a relationship, they're more willing to kind of work with you a little bit more and cut you a little bit more breaks and better deals and stuff like that. So there's pros and cons to both.
And I think some people are intimidated by the mom and pop shops. It's like you can walk into Guitar Center and know nothing and walk out of there having learned something. But with a mom and pop shop, it's like you don't want to walk in there and sound like an idiot. Like there could be 5 guys in the mom and pop shop working on that relationship, but there could be 20 people in Guitar Center, and it's like they'll tell you everything you need to know, but is that relationship there yet? Can you freely say, look, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? So it's a lot of give and take.
They're gonna be able to tell pretty quickly if you know what you're talking about or not too.
Yeah. And the Guitar Center does provide a lot of employment for musicians
Right.
and drummers. Thank you.
What is your biggest pet peeve about the music scene?
I would say promotion-wise from some promoters that promise things that they can't fulfill.
Yeah.
And I would say that, in all honesty, support issues too, when it comes to people, you know, you could post something on your Facebook page about the Browns drafting Johnny Manziel.
Oh.
Put something stupid up there like drafting Johnny Manziel and instantly get like 60 likes and 25 comments. Say, hey, my buddies and I, our band is, you know, and a bunch of other people that drove an hour or 2 hours from Mansfield or from Barberton or from wherever else they came from tonight, you get 1 or 2 likes and it's the same people. I'm not asking, like, I understand that likes on Facebook don't generate to people coming, but there's a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort into making these things happen. And, you know, a little support would be nice. And if people say, well, I don't want to go, I don't want to spend, you know, that kind of money, the tickets are free. And if you come in without a ticket, it's like $8, I think, at the door.
You pay more to go see a national act, like Lamb of God or Hatebreed or Slayer. You're going to pay 3 times that.
You know what, and what a lot of people don't realize too is that at one time, those bands were local bands.
Exactly.
The same thing.
And it's just kind of disheartening, especially in Cleveland, that, you know, bills itself as the rock and roll capital of the world. I don't know how true that is. So,
Yeah, we're extremely grateful for the people who do seem to show up to thick and thin.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, no mistake there.
You can tend to acknowledge the large part of the population views music as wallpaper.
right.
Okay, whatever they get on, whatever they put on happens. It happens to be pleasant. They're all right with it. But the thing is, to make a scene that matters, it requires more than just the blood, sweat, and effort of guys like us. It really doesn't complete itself until people show up to enjoy it. We take a lot of time making the cake. Come help us eat it.
Yeah.
And you know, and the thing is too, is that I understand as everyone gets older that priorities change. People have jobs that require them to work in the evenings or early in the mornings, and people have families, and you know, and that should take precedent. But you know, if you're sitting at home with nothing to do, and you know, you're going to go to your local dive bar, the same bar that you go to all the time, you're going to sit there and you're going to watch ESPN, watch SportsCenter over and over and over.
And have Kenny
Same
Chesney
thing.
on the Duke.
And listen to Kenny Chesney, and you know, no offense to anybody that, you know, like that, or Bruce Springsteen or whatever. Why don't you go out and hear something different? Go out and support, you know, a band that's working
Music
hard.
is made, manure is produced.
You know, and I just feel like a lot of people are ignorant to the amount of talent that there is out there.
Oh yeah.
And it's their own fault, in all honesty.
And still, with how strong this scene is, the amount of friends you can have and make. Like you guys interviewed a band earlier, their dad, for the bass player's dad, he's at the show tonight. He remembers us from a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I was still fresh in the band. Remembers us helping to coach these young kids to say, hey, look, you know, guys, you gotta keep your head on, go this way, go that way. Just coaching them along, and his dad respects that. He comes up to me saying, I don't know if you remember me, but you know, this is who I am. And he's here. He's supporting his son. They have people up here. And that's just a small example of how strong the community is.
Oh yeah.
New people come into that, you can find brand new friends like that. And they'll be
It's a
found
family.
friends that want you to
Real
family out here.
real lasting relationships. So it's more than playing music and having a good time. It is building that community, the sense of community, and building lasting relationships that you can take forward once this ends.
Which influences go into the production of your music? Like, heartfelt or more world influence, like politics or religion or
We don't touch on religion because that's a touchy subject to be really touching on.
That's
We're
hard to
not
do,
wanting to
right?
step on any toes. But everything that we put out is with feeling. I mean, whether Dan's doing his singing and doing his screaming, or it's us doing our thing on our instruments, it's all coming from the heart. It's all with feeling and emotion. But we have also touched on a lot of different subjects. Some of them have touched on politics. Some of them have touched on personal point of views, expressing anger towards a woman that fucked us over and pissed us off. I mean, we pretty much have touched on a little bit of everything, like I said, with the exception of religion, because that's just too touchy a
It's
subject.
hard to do.
I won't say, like, I've been the chief lyric writer in the band. My
lyric
role,
writer.
well, yeah, with the exception of a couple words here and there. I won't say that I won't touch on religion. I won't attack religion. I don't, regardless of what one's personal beliefs are, I don't feel as though it's appropriate to attack.
There's plenty of other things that we could be writing about.
Like Phil was saying, politics, women,
Struggling.
here and there, daily struggles, things that affect people, addiction.
Things people can relate to and
Right.
identify with.
We try to keep things, we try to keep a broad spectrum, try not to be too one-dimensional. Whatever the inspiration is, whatever mood I'm in, when I'm in a writing mood, I'll jot some ideas down and just kind of run with it that way.
do you guys have any talents outside of music?
I love to, I like to paint and draw, but right now my current favorite hobby is barbecue. I love to barbecue.
Yeah, when I first joined the band, we were taking a break outside for rehearsal. These guys were discussing smokers. And I'm like, wait, this is a metal band. Are they talking about human flesh here?
I want to give a shout out.
No, there's grills.
I spent a couple months back, we did a show. We were playing with Korea Diaz, and I sat around with Dave Felton and Mike Ruse and Korea Diaz talking for well over an hour just about barbecue. So,
And I do some drawing. I do all the graphic stuff for the band.
Cool. If you guys on the Manson, how many stripper poles would be in that?
none.
Oh, there'd be at least one in every room.
I don't need that. I'm engaged.
Well, my wife would be on the pole. I'm just saying that would
I would be too, but I don't want her there.
She might make you do it.
Yeah, both can
Oh, no, she wouldn't. She's seen me dance. No, she would not.
I'm young and single, that speaks for itself.
As many as you could fit.
I'll pass on the poles, thanks. If there'd be only one, it would be in the doghouse, so that would be it.
Right.
Okay.
Cool. You have a decor.
All right. You wake up, you're naked lying next to Betty White. What the hell's the first thing through your head? You don't remember what happened.
You better pay me for this shit.
Well, wow. The good news is she's like 96 years old. There can't be that many.
At least I can say it was with a television legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Television legend.
I would say, damn, I wish it was Blanche.
Are you sure?
She'll be a little stiff now.
Right. Well, yeah.
A little bit of rigor. Oh man.
Sorry,
Well,
well,
at least
Animal Corpse. I saw about that.
shit, we could tackle him like the Snickers commercial.
Okay. Can you guys describe for us, the younger generation, early 90s kids, can you describe for us the golden age of MTV before it became the horrible shit it is right
Well,
now?
they still have music videos.
It was great. I'm sorry to say that I saw when MTV came on for the first time. I saw when Video Killed the Radio Star debuted. on, there was no commercials, no TV shows, no reality shows, no VJs, no MJs, DJs, whatever you want to call it. It was just music video after music video after music video. And the worst thing that happened was Mickey Dolenz sold the rights to MTV, and that's when it all changed.
Yeah, but they did like, it wasn't initially, I mean, from what I remember, you know, strictly, when I started watching it, they did have remote control. Remember
That was all later.
Oh, yeah. That's what I got cable.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Slightly younger, but Adam Sandler was on there. Ken Ober hosted it. Colin Quinn.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Even if you didn't like the video that was on, you would watch it anyway because you couldn't wait to see which one was next.
Yep.
And because you never knew.
That stuff was also new back then.
It was also new, and there were forms of music that were developing alongside it. Like I was really into okay, brutal confession here. I was really into the early mid '80s British new wave stuff. For me, it just seemed so startlingly futuristic. Because I was like 11, 12-year-old young kid into science fiction, and that was the music that was playing to me when the science fiction stories were on. So, and that was like the major 120 minutes was the name of the show. And you would see like the bloody tip edge of the spear of that music movement from Britain there. And that's what inspired me to go out and find Melody Maker New Magazine, NME, which are the two main music papers in Britain. And it was just like, it would just open the whole world. That was before I was a bass player, for fuck's sake. I got into that, like I got a copy of Russians All the World's a Stage, and that was it. I gotta play that. But MTV was like a driving force in bringing so many things which hadn't really found its niche until it hit there. For instance, Radiohead, song Creep. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. Yeah, they created a song.
Well, it's only weird when it's in the strip club.
Yeah, Radiohead was...
Serious, I've heard it way too many times. I just feel bad for being there. I won't leave.
That's closer, 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, yeah.
Radiohead was like a third level down, kind of add-in, tossed-in band on most like British music, on the British scene, bills in London, in Manchester, places like that. Nobody really heard of them, nobody really cared. They brought that song to America, put it on MTV. Boom! Boom! They used to make fun of Chumbawamba. You remember that stupid song, Knock It Up Again? They were a national show.
I got no job, but I get off at 10.
Right, but they were a national joke. They used to make fun of them being on the bill at Reading or Glastonbury. And they brought that song here, they put that sucker on MTV, boom!
We're laughing all the way to the bank.
All the way to the bank. And all the bigger bands like Suede, like the London Suede, and like, oh geez, what's it, Ash? Oh God. Pulp, that's it, Pulp. They were all hymned to the skies by the British newspapers. Nothing, never here. 2 songs on MTV made 2 third-level bands, monsters. That's never turned back. They drove the trends for a while. Nirvana smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
Where did that really gain traction? MTV.
You have like an MTV era going good, and then you have like spin-off genres from kids singing them, growing up and starting their own bands, and then you have bands like that turning into bands like Twisted Sister and like Winger and other bands like that. Like, when did all of that happen?
When everybody was on major drugs.
Yeah, from about 1980.
Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah. From about 1982 to about 1988. Because in 87 is the release of Guns N' Roses Appetite.
Yeah.
Really kind of turned the switch on most regular standard power, we would consider power metal now, and turned it into like the kind of a nastier thing.
It's like, wait, that's what we should be doing.
There. Yeah, it kind of grew more glam from there until, of course, the Nirvana's release, and my favorite band at the time was Soundgarden anyway. Because Soundgarden was just so freaking awesome, and still are. But.
Pantera saved metal.
Yeah.
They kept the bands alive.
They did.
I'm just gonna throw that out.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
had,
no, you're
you
right.
had Motorhead, you had Metallica, you had Pantera. It was like an evolutionary machine.
Nice.
Yes.
And then-
Metallica pre-1991.
And then
No, we all went to shit after 86.
Yeah.
Cliff died.
I'm still in justice for all.
No, you're too young, and we're
That's
too.
right, when Injustice
You
for
were
All
too
came
young
out, I
and too
was four.
stupid to know better. What are you talking about?
Exactly, I was 4.
That's right. I'm setting you straight.
It's like music will always be changing because you got the MTV era, then you have like bands after that, and then you have like the whole Manson boom, and then the White Zombie to Rob Zombie era, and then just boom, 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 boom. And you have all these kids growing up listening to this stuff, creating their own music from the stuff they heard, and it's just like, wow. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
That's
you
where it all
want
comes from.
you want to seek what you start out wanting to seek what your heroes found, and you wind up seeking what they sought. You know, because whatever went into making you, all the pain and struggle and politics and whatever else went into making who you are, start to come out through what you start by imitating the others, but then this stuff that makes you different starts leading through.
how did you guys come up with the name Bound by Fate?
Well, this was before them, but it was just kind of like our previous bass player. The three of us had worked together. Drummer that came before our original drummer, we worked. Yeah, that butts.
Yeah, that's
We're not gonna. We worked with him before, so it was kind of like we all kind of came together that we worked with at different points in our lives musically, and then we just kind of came together as one, though it's changed up over that period of time. It just kind of like seemed like it was bound, meant to happen, that this was bound by fate to have happened, that we were all to collectively get together to at least get something started and to start to build something. And as it's changed, some of the members have changed.
And it's kind of good. Like, I wasn't totally sold on it. I went along with it, but I was just like, fine, we need a name, and it was better than really anything else that was getting suggested. But it kind of leaves it open to interpretation as to what exactly we are, because we didn't want to settle for anything that was going to say, okay, well, these guys have an indecipherable logo. And,
claws
right, some like German name for like a sewer cleaner or
Vertical,
something like
yeah.
that. I love death metal and grind and things like that. We wanted to do something different, and we didn't want to kind of pigeonhole ourselves with the name. We wanted a name that was relevant for us, and I think it's kind of grown.
Yeah.
It's
Something
kind of
that
grown.
wasn't gonna
100%
stick you with like a one-hit wonder like the Weather Girls and It's Raining Men.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it also describes a larger existential condition
Yeah.
where we are all bound by fate.
Yeah, we're musicians. We're bound by our fate to create and play music. It's what we're here to do. It's in our blood and it's in our DNA.
Which that kept going once, when I had joined the band, it was literally fate that I had come together to meet Phil, because at the time, I lived 5 minutes away from him.
Yeah, even.
I was around the corner, and there was another band getting going with me and some other guys, and he came into the fold, and one thing leads to another. Next thing you know, I'm sitting at his house, the three of us. Next thing you know, it was like, all right, we'll get together. Oh, this was fate. And then when it was coming time of getting Dave in the fold, it was what was going on with the band at the time. Like, we went out and we got ourselves a bus to move stuff and just make things so much more easier. It's just been a trend. Everything that has seemed to happen has been
For the
fate.
better. And for the better.
For the better, fate related. Yeah, we still gotta drive that bus home.
Yeah.
What would you guys say to Charles Manson?
Charles Manson.
He'd say, hold
Well,
on.
I'd pretty much say anything now. He's 86 years old and feeble, so I pretty pretty much would tell him how he was fucked
Like,
up.
dude, was Brian Wilson really a dick?
Yeah.
I was just telling him he was just fucked up in
How's that tapioca pudding, Charlie?
Now, years ago, I'd just say, hi, don't kill me.
And he's a little sucker too, he's like 5'3".
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Alright. I want to know more about your music and how it all came together. Like, how often do you guys get together to practice?
Twice a week. One during the week, which is kind of a short, and then and the musicians kind of get together a little bit in advance, get together a little bit earlier than what Dan does to kind of work on some new stuff, maybe throw out some ideas. Saturdays are usually a little bit longer, and that's where
we start exploring.
really start exploring and trying to maybe even put more new material together and work on new ideas where they're presentable enough to bring to the band that we can start working with, and doing stuff like set prepping for shows when we have a string of shows, or we have a big show coming up, or really any show.
Yeah, it matters to us enough that even after all the time that we've put in for playing shows, that we still make sure our stuff is sharp and tight.
Yeah, I mean, we know these songs in our sleep, we can play them in our sleep, but that doesn't prevent us from going over our set list to make sure that we're going to be giving our audience the best that we can give.
Plus, we don't want to blow his voice out.
Yeah.
His work's done with, the head and the hand of paper.
And plus, I defy anyone to sleep with Phil's guitar in the same room.
You can bust a string, you can ruin a drum, but you pull the vocalist, you're gonna need more than money to fix that.
He's really good at taking care of himself, though. He's learning over time. See, a lot of 20, 21, 22-year-old guys, they just go at it constantly, as if it's never gonna fail them. But when you get a little older and a little smarter, you start to really take care of the thing that takes care of you. And I believe he has.
You start to learn different nuances and tricks. As you play venues more frequently, you become familiar with sound. You know how sound travels, how it bounces off walls. I happen to know the sound guy that's doing the show tonight pretty well. He kind of knows what I like, what I don't. And there's certain nights where I'm just not feeling it. Like if you're playing in a city in a state where smoking is allowed indoors, it just kills my throat, kills my voice. And that way I have to compensate for that. If you're sick, if you feel under the weather, you have to know your body. I mean, as a vocalist, you have to know what you can do and what you can't do on any given night. You don't want to sell anyone short that's come to see you. You don't want to cheat anyone. So you have to figure out, you have to work around those things. But for the most part, early to bed, early to rise, whenever you can. I don't drink, I don't smoke.
It's okay, we do enough of that for him. We do
Yeah.
And, it's just basically trying to take care of it. Putting in a good effort in practice and rehearsals, show preps and all that, but not blowing your voice out, being smart.
How many albums do you guys have out? How many are you going to be working on?
We have one right now, and we're working on our second one.
We technically have another one, but it's out of print. It's out of print.
For a very good
They
reason.
won't even let me hear it.
It served its purpose at the time.
It was a demo when we first got going, basically to give talent buyers and club owners something to reference so that we can get gigs.
I'm still trying to secretly buy one off something. They won't let me hear it.
Oh, hell no. Dude, I've got a copy at home. I think it's a coaster by now. It was a Frisbee.
But
Pay attention. Paul!
Shoot toy.
I have one, and it's packed away for sentimental reasons, never to be brought out again.
As musicians, you guys experience so much playing with lots of different bands in many different cities. What what lessons have you guys really learned when the mic has like sunk in and said, okay, we're not going to do this anymore, we're going to change ourselves?
Always find Phil someplace to eat. And always find gas for the bus when you go in, because you don't want to be running around at 1 o'clock in the morning with the needle around your key trying to find an open gas station.
That's a hard question.
You know what, for me, what it means to me, what lesson I've learned the most, and it's taught me the most, and it doesn't even really have anything to do with music. The lesson is how much I appreciate being at home with my family.
Yeah.
How much, it makes me appreciate. It makes me appreciate my bandmates too, because I know they're making the same sacrifice, and they're not at home with their family either. So if I'm having a bad day and I would secretly rather not be there, maybe playing Rockstar that day, I know that they're going through the same thing.
Secretly?
But well, yeah, or not so. I hate to glitch. I hate to see.
Hey, we can put the camera here.
I can be a bit of a moody person every once but shut the fuck up. I'm trying to No, in all honesty, sometimes I'm a selfish person in that regard. I'll admit that, but it makes me appreciate them for making the same sacrifice. I know that I'm not going through it alone, and it makes me grateful for my home and my family.
Yeah.
When I'm not there.
I definitely appreciate my bed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because you know our
Home cooked meals, not gas station food and
Right.
fast food.
walking into brightly lit pilot at 3:45 in the morning on Highway 21 somewhere.
Getting a hot dog that's been on that rotisserie
For
since
14
8 o'clock in
hours.
the morning.
Yeah. People are looking at you kind of shady, and it's just
You're tired.
it's
you're
tough. The fun part is this, and performing. The not so fun part is loading all that stuff up
The traveling.
and traveling around.
It's like moving your apartment every week.
Yeah.
You're packing everything up for an hour, and then or even a half hour if you're opening, and then you're driving around with it
For an hour, 2 hours,
Yeah.
6 hours, 8 hours.
however long.
Yeah.
And it can't seem long. I can tell you this. Ashtabula County may be 40 miles wide going west to east, but after midnight at 1 in the morning, I swear to you, it's 305 miles. Because that's what it goddamn felt like.
Even driving from Erie back to Cleveland, it sure seems a lot longer on the way back.
Oh, yeah.
And then then you're taking into account that you're on the road at those hours.
Drunks.
Drugs, cops, and deer.
Yeah.
And it's lit up bread trucks and newspaper trucks. Then you're really burning the candle at both ends.
As a band, how much gas money do you think you guys have spent in the past 3 years?
The past 3 months we probably spent
You're probably going to put a
300
dent
bucks
in the
there.
national deficit.
a lot.
A lot.
But we do consider ourselves lucky enough to where we're able to sell some merch, sell, make some money.
Shows
We
we're
make
pretty
a
much
living
covered
back.
the gas so
Yeah.
far, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going home and paying bills with the stuff or, taking someone out to dinner. Everything goes right back in the band.
Playing in a heavy metal band, at least in Cleveland, Ohio, unless you're at the top of the chain, you are basically reinvesting. You're not making a profit that often, unless you're really lucky. It's just a fact of life. We know this. It's a hobby. It's an expensive hobby. But
So
you try-
strong.
Yeah, you try to go about your business as professionally as possible so that you're given more opportunities, so that you can continue to work with bands, in the future.
They don't hate you and
Right.
take your song.
Everyone's in the same boat. I don't know if too many people, maybe I'm, wrong, but, I was talking about it with friends of mine that are in the scene, and, you're basically trying to break even. That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
having so many bands in one city. Hopefully the bands all get along, but this is real life. We have our issues. How do you guys think we, as a scene, can improve band relationships?
I would say, just try to be
Looking out for each other. I mean, we're all out there doing the same thing. We're all out there going to strange cities, strange states where you don't know anybody. You have nobody but yourselves to look out for each other and to take care of each other. And that's what you need to do. No more of this, none of this crap where you're stealing other band's gear and slashing tires because you didn't get a time slot that you wanted. Or talking smack and crap like that. We're all out here doing the same thing, and we're all trying to have fun doing it.
And it's better to have your friends.
just be respectful of one another. You know, you may need those people someday. You know,
A little tension is a good thing now. It kind of tells you to wet your legs a little bit.
it does, but to an extent, like you need. There's enough issues in life without it. You know, why would you want to make enemies with people? It's a lot easier to just get along with people, just be respectful. You're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's in it for the same reason. Bite the bullet. If you don't like going first, then don't be in a band.
It's about the process, not the result.
You guys have to come together on like so many things. How do you guys handle like discussing songs, for instance? How do you guys handle putting all your ideas in one without conflicting? When you guys have to come together to get songs down, like tracks and everything like that?
Boxing ring.
Yeah.
Guns.
How do you from wrestling?
It can get pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there's a lot of frustration because you're trying to get it right. You're doing stuff over and over and over, and you get tired of doing it over. You get tired of hearing it being done over and over. And I personally despise recording. I hate it. It is horrible, but I love the end result. So it's one of those things where you have to bite the bullet and take the good in order to get the bad. But yeah,
Especially with before recording, which is while working on the songs in general. Yeah, we might say, let's try this, let's try that. Let's work this in, do that, drop it. You know, that's going to come with anybody. But for this band, at the end of the day, the songs end up finishing themselves. They write themselves out. Like it goes with the flow. Like taking influence of, different lyrics or something like that. To me, that means nothing. I'm back there playing drums. I'm going with what I'm feeling here and here, and I'm letting it take me to where I want to go. And hoping that can transcend to the other guys, and then next thing you know, he's screaming about some craziness that I don't know what he's saying. But it sounds good, it works, it's catchy.
Yeah. And I don't think, when it comes to crafting songs, you have to be upfront, you have to be honest with people. If they don't like something that I'm doing, I expect to be told about it. I value their opinion, and I'm going to give them mine too. Because I think if you settle for, for the sake of wanting to finish the song, we're going to do it this way, then you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself, you're cheating them, you're cheating the people that are
You're putting too much effort into safe fight.
Right. You're ultimately cheating the people that are going to come see you play, and then that's going to cause them to have a negative opinion of you.
Yeah.
If you're not, you can't produce your best unless you're challenged to do it. It's a process. I mean, it's a tedious process. It's annoying at times.
Kind of like making sausage.
It's very ungratifying. I don't know if that's a real word, but at times you just want to throw it up and question, why am I doing this? And the answer comes when the song comes together and you're satisfied with it, and the people that are seeing you perform it or hearing it performed are satisfied with it. That's where the gratification comes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when they throw the soft lettuce at instead of frozen.
thing's sitting there waiting. I'm ready to
Yeah,
get the wrists loosened up, get the shoulders loose, get the feet working with it, just to keep everything limber, get some stretching done.
We're gonna get a reflexologist one day, and the name will be Ninja.
For me, stretching, breathing exercises, maybe a few little vocal scale exercises. Try to keep my throat moist, drink some water. And, but it's really, what I'm doing is, a lot of it is as much breathing as it is anything.
Me, my tall boy, my bottle of water when I go on stage.
There you go.
Yeah, I jump around, bounce around, knock off a couple walls, and depending on the day, I'll sometimes drink a shot, just to drive that nerve edge down, because you have to be on the edge of fury all the time when you're playing our music, but you can't tip over, because if you tip over, you're fucking up, your impact is lost. So I just try and damp it down to about 85 or 90%, which means I can keep control of it. The shot, most especially.
Yes.
If your fans could rename a sexual position with one of your song titles, which song title would it be?
Wait a minute, what was that?
If your fans could rename a sexual position with one of your song titles, which song title would you think they would choose?
See, that's weird because with some of the new songs that we have yet to record, I could definitely think of one or two in that bunch. But from some we already have recorded, released.
Wow.
Hopefully it's not Crooked Blue.
No, I mean, because we could go with, the Aftermath, or, some grand declaration.
Rebuild the band. Broke apart.
Brink of extinction.
Yeah.
Oh, no, got it. Internal warfare.
Internal
By the way, we're opening with that song tonight.
It's on top of this.
First song in the set.
Alright. After you guys finish working on your upcoming album, what are your plans for the summer?
Rest.
Vacation. We're going to play intermittently. We do have a show coming up on the 25th of this month with something involving the monkey. One of them is here tonight. I told them I would shout out for us, so there you go, Joe. That's for you. But we're going to do that. Take some time, do what we got to do.
Yeah, 'cause last year we had a very hectic playing schedule. I mean, I think we were home maybe one day a month out of a weekend last year. So this year is just going to be working on new material, keep that process going, and kind of rejuvenate a little bit, enjoy the summer a little bit.
We seem to do our best work during the fall months for some reason. It's kind of been a standard. With that in mind, I'll probably get to booking some shows, for late summer, probably up until after Thanksgiving. We'll book a nice run, but right now we want to relax and enjoy the weather.
Summer's not a very mellow time because everyone's happy.
Right.
We want to be miserable. So, miserable makes good men.
But then we'll release that next album next year, and then
Sometime next year.
hit the gambit again.
Yeah. We'll run.
We'll be around. You can't get rid of us. We're like a bad penny. Keep in the bag.
Like herpes, but pleasant.
I'm sure the pleasant part might be
Nice
good.
analogy.
Thank you.
Where can we, the fans of Cleveland music, find your music?
Everywhere. We're on iTunes, Xbox, Spotify, Reverb Nation, Facebook, pretty much anywhere you can.
Verizon, CD Baby,
Yeah.
Rhapsody.
Anywhere you
Hailing
dirtbaby.com, and you can get it there as
And
well.
we still have some left, you know, for at the shows, but, I mean, we have 3 different lines of shirts, we have some stickers still, you know, we're not shortchanging anything.
Come see our buzzsaw, then you buy all the fees.
And our shirts, we're also sponsored by Dirtbag. Dirtbag Clothing.
Yeah.
So they put our shirts,
They made
some
more than that.
wristbands, so.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We are St. Paul Cleveland Metal Stand. This is Down by Fate. We're gonna go check them out right now for the second time. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.